Diagnostic dilemmas in TB. Then space occupying lesions in the brain. Is it NCC or tuberculoma? Because the treatment of both is very different. Now you have a 6-year-old boy, you find focal convulsion, you do a CT, you find a ring enhancing lesion. The radiologist tells you it's NCC. You give albendazole for 28 days with anti-epileptics. 1 year later, he again has a convulsion. Again you do an MRI, again you find something. And now the radiologist says it's tuberculoma. NCC or TB?
MRS.
So, MR spectroscopy. Can we do a CSF here and get a diagnosis of TB?
Would be very useful. Would be normal.
Tuberculoma, CSF is normal. X-ray chest is going to be normal. Mantoux will not help you to distinguish. So the only way you have to know is either do a biopsy of that lesion or do a Cysticercus ELISA, which is not available. So you have an MR spectro. What MR spectro does, it looks at choline, it looks at lipids, it looks at lactate. And your Mycobacterium tuberculosis cell wall is full of lipids. So if that is TB, there should be lipid peaks. Okay, and your choline will be higher. So whenever you have a space occupying lesion, you should always do MR spectro. Much cost effective and prevents a lot of stress and drugs to the patient. Okay, so MR spectro will help you to distinguish between tuberculoma and NCC. Last is ADA. Now ADA is an enzyme which is used for purine metabolism, and it is an index of cellular immunity. It's been used a lot of times in pleural fluid in adults, and they found that if you take a cutoff of 100, it has a sensitivity of 40% and specificity of 100%. So there's a less chance of being false positive. Okay, but if you take a cutoff of 35, your sensitivity is higher but your specificity is low. So we still don't know the ideal cutoff in adults, but if you have 100 and above, it's TB. Okay, data in children are lacking. So you understand that we don't have data in children. That does not mean that it's not useful in children.
So how does the interpretation change after that?
So interpretation is that if one of them or few centers do a study on pleural fluid ADA and correlate it with the pleural fluid gene expert or PCR or culture and see what's the sensitivity specificity. If that turns out to be good, then in children it's recommended. Till we don't get the studies, we don't know how to interpret it. Okay, so we will have to correlate it with the gold standard. So what's the gold standard? Is gene expert and TB-MGIT culture, and see what happens. A lot of dilemmas, but the first thing is do no harm. And you always have to be wiser, because medicine is something that needs updates all the time. So you can't be sitting after MD and saying, oh, I finished.